of all, I want to give credit to Georgia. It's a good win for them, obviously. Secondly, I got no issue with our effort from our guys. They've done pretty much all season besides one game where they just played. They give you every ounce of energy and effort that they can give you. But it's just, we just struggled scoring. And when you struggle scoring like that, it makes it really, really tough. And obviously, you got to give Georgia credit for that. But, for us, that's just been one of our things for the season. And we got to continue to find solutions to help us on that. And we'll keep attacking that and finding a way to help us try to get some points on the board. Obviously, they did a great job on the offensive glass. That was a big thing. I thought defensively we did a good job other than the offensive glass. But again, the scoring part of it, if I told our staff if we can hold them in the 50s defensively, we'll win the game. And we did hold them in the 50s. At the end there, obviously they got they were fouling and they got the end one. But in the main part of the game, you're probably in the 50s. We just, I thought for sure we'd at least try to get the 60, and that was the difference. And just not being able to score really hurts us and puts us in a tough spot. So credit to Georgia. Our young men gave every ounce of energy they have, and this is all going to be part of the learning process as we rebuild, as we move forward in the rebuild. And there could be other, as we move forward, there could be games where we have other struggles like this. But as I told our team, and I truly believe this, that we'll continue to grow and get better. But this is part of us finding ways to try to do what we need to do to come up with ways to score, as myself and my staff here in the short term, as we continue to move forward in these games.
Was there any particular reason you guys, it seemed like Todrick, I think his first basket came with like 5 minutes left in the game. He had played like 18 minutes or something at that point. Was there any particular thing they were doing defensively that was...
It's hard for us when Todrick and Quentin are combined 2 for 14. It's just, we don't have we're limited, so we don't have a lot of options on that, and that makes it tough. And so we need Quentin and Todrick to step up and put the ball in the basket for us. And when they're not, that makes it hard. Quentin's effort, he's giving you every ounce of energy he has. His floor game has vastly improved. He's trying the best he can. He's just, I felt today we got a little bit stagnant in some of the things offensively when we maybe tried to force some actions and the shots weren't going. We missed some, easy layups, and all of a sudden we try to press and in terms of pressing mentally and trying to get all back at once. And we'll just have to continue to get better, and we need Todrick to score as well too. If he's not scoring, it puts us at a severe disadvantage as well.
Do you feel their interior defense was a big factor in the game?
Well, Georgia's a good team. They're a good team. They're well coached by Coach Fox. It's just it wasn't as much as their interior defenses. We missed a lot of shots. We missed a lot of layups. Listen, their bigs are good and they're well coached. It's just when you can't score like that or you miss those layups, it just sucks the life out of you. And you're trying to in the huddles tell the team, and you're trying to get them picked up and we just got to find other ways to score. And the best way is in transition, in offense before the defense sets. That's some easy opportunities. I didn't feel we did a good enough job on the offensive glass as we have been, because that gives us another way to score. With the amount of shots that we missed, we should have been getting more offensive rebounds. And so those two areas, we're not capitalizing enough to find other ways to score based on some of our limitations offensively.
Touched on it a little bit, but we actually did a pretty good job making them miss quite a few too. But they held, I think, with a 19-2 advantage in second chance.
Yeah, no, they kicked our butt on the offensive glass. There's no question about that. But look, we held the 37% from the fields. 16% from three. I told our kids and our staff before the game, we hold them in the 50s, we'll win the game, and we literally did. It was just, I didn't think we were just going to score 43. So that's a credit to Georgia and to their defense, and that's an area where we've obviously has been, an area of our weaknesses this year on that. We've really gotten better defensively, but an area for us offensively is just trying to find ways to score, especially in the half court. when it becomes some areas in the half court, we've got to find ways to score. I also want to just say on the crowd, I thought the crowd was outstanding. I really feel awful. I know how important this game is to Georgia Tech, and I wanted to win so bad for Jacket Nation. But as I said in the radio, we're going to get it back. As this rebuild happens here in a short amount of time, as we continue to put recruiting classes together, I want that building to be filled up like that all the time. That's the vision, minus the Georgia fans, but the vision is having the Georgia Tech fans in there filled up to see their team play night in, night out every time we step on the floor, and that's the vision. And we're going to get there. This is the year, as I've always said, this is kind of the year to get us in a sense, because as we continue to build, I really believe in our vision and how we're going to get there as we continue to move forward, and especially through recruiting and everything else. So, but for focusing on tonight, like I said, it's just give credit to Georgia, and they won a good game.
Were they? You mentioned the transition and getting the points on fast breaks. Were they kind of better at that?
They did a good job in transition defense, but I felt like Josh O, we had a couple times there where we're flying down and he tries to knife through the defense when they're already set and we got to turn over too. But some other times, I just felt we got stagnant, and we got a little, I like to use the word paralyzed offensively. And I said that was the number one key, is we cannot get paralyzed offensively. And we did. We did that. I didn't tell that to our team. I told it to our staff. And we had a good practice on Monday, and we moved the ball well. And I just felt we gave the ball a headache again tonight, or massaged it too much. We let it stick, and we weren't moving, and we were very, very stagnant, and we were very paralyzed offensively. And part of that is based on some, there's areas when you don't have, maybe because of our shooting percentages, teams are able to really sink in, and so you're trying to cut and move and things are clogged. And that's where that innate ability to find ways to score, even just as an individual, we've got to continue to try to improve our guys here in the short term. We've got to try to just find ways to individually improve them, to make shots, create an own shot, score the ball so we can open up some other gaps offensively.
Was the intensity level of the rivalry, or just the rivalry overall, was it kind of what you were expecting coming in?
Yeah, I know how important this game is to Georgia Tech, and I've only been here for a short amount of time. I haven't been here a full year, but I consider myself, and I wish I could get an honorary degree from Georgia Tech. I want to be part of the culture. I know how important this game is to Georgia Tech, to Jacket Nation, and so. We just, and maybe it was based on the crowd at home. Our guys played in very stagnant, because this is the first type of crowd they played in front of at home. And I don't know if it was the hype of the game. I don't know, but we were just offensively we really struggled. And you got to give Georgia credit on that. I want to make sure Georgia gets credit for that defensively, but we've got to just be better offensively. We played good enough defense and had good enough numbers to win the game. When you're scoring 43 points, it makes it awfully hard.
It seemed like the first
2 for 3 in 12 minutes. How has he been practicing and progressing?
He's a guy that can score a little bit. He's just got to, he can make some shots and stuff. As part of our, as we talked about in the staff, do we look at him a little more? And we're just, it's just, again, I don't know if we need to overanalyze it. Quinton's 0 for 9 and Todrick's 2 for 5. Just makes it hard. And you miss those layups. We had a lot of layups right at the rim we just missed. It just makes it hard. We can sit here and overanalyze it, but there's not a lot to do on that. We just, based on our roster, guys like Quinton Stevens, if he's 0 for 9 and Todrick's 2 for 5, it's going to be hard for us in that game, unless we're playing just an awful opponent. And we don't have any of those the rest of the year.
It seemed like it was just tight all the way around. I remember at one point in the first half, I think Todrick shooting free throws. He misses both Georgia player rebounds and dribbles off his foot, with no one around him. And that first 3 minutes of game was about as ugly first 3 minutes as you would see.
It probably wasn't a pretty game for TV or for either. It was, but Georgia won, so you could never have a bad win, even if it's ugly. Obviously, for us, it was an ugly game, but. That's just part of the game. Part of it, again, is just I can't stress enough just us offensively. We've got to be better. We got to make those shots, guys. Those seniors, those guys are going to have to. Juniors are going to have to put the ball in the basket for us.
Were you good with the shots that Quentin was taking?
I talked to Quentin about this after in the locker room, that I felt some of the shots he didn't let it flow within the offense. He resorted back to kind of what he was doing at the very beginning of the year. He got out of that the last few games. He really let it come to him, and I felt today he tried to, I told him this. You're trying to do things on your own, 1-on-5, and he's just not as effective on that. He's improved so much on how hard he plays and doing other things than just trying to be a standstill shooter. And I thought today he resorted a little bit back to that. And maybe it was, again, the hype of the Georgia game and whatever. He was just trying to do it all at once. And that's just not his game. That's just not who he is. And if he just stays within the system and lets it come to him, that's when he's at his best.
What will the primary focus be tomorrow?
Well, I mean, listen, we play on Thursday, and I told the guys we can't let Georgia beat us twice. I mean, we can sit here and we don't have time to. No one feels sorry for us. We got to get back on the floor tomorrow, and we're going to be really short. But we got to win the game on Thursday. We got a good opponent coming in, Wofford, who plays hard. They just beat at Coastal Carolina yesterday, so we know we're going to have to give a great effort. We can't be, any feeling sorry or sulking, or we got to find a way to get a win, and we got to do that on Thursday.